This 39-kilometer ride wanders through eastern Holland from Arnhem through beautiful Hoogvelu National Park and the Krollermuller Museum to Apeldoorn.
Head east for a few blocks, making your way out of the town centrum. Much of the town has been rebuilt since World War II, where the battle took place that was depicted in the film A Bridge Too Far. Continue on past Sandsbeek Park on a nicely paved path. Then you'll come to a two-way dual bike path which runs safely alongside the busy highway. And eventually you'll go under the A50 and continue straight. After another kilometer, you reach the N311, where you'll get to the left lane and turn. Continue a few meters and turn right into the park. Just ride to the gate and buy your ticket. Your ticket entitles you to a map and a day of truly enjoyable riding. The Hoogvelu National Park and Nature Reserve covers 13,338 acres of varied terrain and crisscrossed with dozens upon dozens of riding trails. For cyclists, this park is a destination unto itself. At the park entrances, one may pick up a courtesy bike and enjoy the park, leaving it at the park exit at the end of the ride. Watch for the mushroom signposts and check to see if your destination is listed on one of the facets. Suddenly the woods disappear and you find yourself on the open plain. There are plenty of benches and tables throughout the park where you can stop for a bite of lunch. Just before you reach the museum, you enter a stand of woods once again. As you get closer to the museum, you will see more and more cyclists. You're really not lost. Just keep to the path. You're almost there. At last you arrive and are greeted by another white bike parking area. The museum is just across from here.
Here in the middle of the beautiful Hoogvelu National Park is the Krollermuller Museum, home to one of the finest collections of Vincent van Gogh's work and one of two in Holland. The museum itself houses some of the most famous Van Gogh paintings and drawings, as well as a number of other great works by prominent. This oasis for art lovers is truly worth the journey across Holland to the center of this renowned park. These are just a few of the 60 oil paintings in this collection. Conclude your visit with a leisurely meander through the sculpture garden. The museum grounds are a museum in themselves. They are dotted with sculptures all around the building. It's a very pleasant diversion to get off the saddle and walk among the various pieces of artwork, both indoors and out. A sculpture trail meanders along the wooded pathways around the museum, a favorite place for children.
Back on the trail, you again pass the white bike parking. Just look for the mushroom to point your way to the trail you want to take out of the park. You'll now be looking for directions to the exit at Hunderlo. Almost anywhere that strikes you is a good place to stop for a refreshment or just to watch the passing riders. As you cross a main trail intersection, watch for bicycle traffic. The mushrooms will inform you at every intersection so you can check your direction. One last stop for a drink just before you leave the park. And another stretch of woods on your way to the exit. You'll know you're at the exit when you pass the white bike parking lot. Passing lines of manicured trees, you go through the Hunderlo exit gate. Watch carefully as you exit the park, turning left and go about 800 meters where you join the N304 on a divided bicycle highway which parallels the road and is safely away from the auto traffic. It's smooth sailing as you ride beside the main road on your own bike highway. Note the path lights along the fietspad to light your way day or night. The motorists are well accustomed to cyclists, since most of them are cyclists themselves. For just a short distance, you're on one of the secondary roads, then back on the well-marked and well-maintained fietspads. The fietspad then turns into a shrub-lined path along the N304. Although some paths are designated for cycles only, this is one of those fietspads which Brumfietsers may use as well. Take special care as you cross this major intersection on your way into Apeldoorn. You'll be crossing these intersecting major roads and continuing in the same direction, only on the opposite side of the road. Here we go again. This can be a bit tricky. It is very common for a two-way fietspad to be on only one side of the highway, and over a few kilometers you could be crossing several times. Heads up here, you cross again and turn right and continue up a side road, not a fietspad. Eventually this will turn into a fietspad again after you pass several businesses. The fietspad takes you back to the N304. With all the crossing back and forth and waiting for the lights, it might be handy to have a small compass just to check your direction. This time you cross the N304 for the last time and turn left onto the ring road, which will lead to Apeldoorn. This is a good place to check the directions to your accommodations for the night. Our hotel was about 2 kilometers from Europaweg on local, bike-friendly streets. We reserved a place on the west side of town for an easy exit the next morning. The Hotel Bergenbos suited our needs perfectly. Apeldoorn is a quiet town with bicycle amenities you'd expect in any Dutch town. To us, it seems that the tweewheelers or two-wheel commuters outnumbered the motorists.